Welcome to an introduction to the Data Protection Act. This suite of sessions will give you some insight to UK data protection, GDPR, and how this can affect you inside and outside work. Let's have a look at what we will cover. We will cover an explanation of data protection, what you should be doing inside work to remain compliant. Focus on internal policies and procedures which help meet these compliant objectives. The severity of a breach and the consequences this can lead to. How you can apply this outside of work and at home. Data is any kind of information that can be inputted into a computer or kept locked away. Usually it is sorted and stored using an organized system. Today, most data is held on computers and on databases rather than physically. Have a think about the data you have access to in your role. In most organizations, there is access to all sorts of data which could include third-party data, your clients, customers, and colleagues. Databases where information is stored like pay details, addresses, telephone numbers, dates of birth. Not only this, if a large employer, you will also have access to your employees' details which should be held in a confidential way. Usually, a structured approach to data protection is taken. This can differ depending on the size of the organization you work in. You will usually have the data subject, you, the client, the customer. The data user, the person who handles the data. The data protection officer, the person who ensures all staff adhere to the process and policies to enforce the law in the business. The data controller, the person who has responsibility for how data is stored and used in the business. UK DPA has 8 principles. They are: data should be processed fairly and lawfully. Data should be processed for specifically stated purposes. Data should be adequate, relevant, not excessive. Data should be accurate, up to date. Data should be kept no longer than necessary. Data should be processed in accordance with the rights of the data subject. Data should be kept secure and protected. Data should not be transferred outside of the UK unless the country provides the same level of data protection. The Information Commissioner's Office or ICO has several options when it finds an organization in breach of DPA. Monetary penalty notices can see organizations fined up to £500,000 for serious breaches with prosecutions and possible prison sentences for deliberate acts. Organizations have to commit to a particular course of action to improve their compliance and avoid further action. Enforcements by the ICO can be put in place to ensure it doesn't happen again. If a breach is to occur at work, it is important to ensure you let your data protection officer or data controller know as soon as possible. Breaches can be controlled and contained if the right people know about it. A DPA breach can be access by an unauthorized third party, deliberate or accidental action or inaction by a controller or processor, sending personal data to an incorrect recipient, computing devices containing personal data being lost or stolen, alteration of personal data without permission. The Data Protection Act is a set of guidelines designed to protect information about customers and the company. To work in a compliant way, you should follow internal procedures and guidelines to ensure data is not held, processed or given out incorrectly or to the wrong person and protect against breaches. You should report any potential breaches to be investigated further. Thanks for listening. The next session will focus on the General Data Protection Regulation.